So for your final project, you can take either your grid view or your CSS grid assignment and use that as a basis for your term project. One of the things that you need to add or make sure that you have included is JavaScript, and you also need a menu. And you can take care of those two things at the same time if you want to use either the overlay or the push menu. And you should have the code for this because this was part of our assignment for lesson 12. But what I'm going to do is show you how to add the push menu to an existing project. And we have all of the code that we need right in this example. And once you get it in the project, it will look something like this. Okay, and so how I did that. I've got the grid view open, and obviously I need to rename it to index. But I copied it into a final project folder. I also copied the CSS and all of the graphics. So I've got a CSS folder and I've got my media folder and everything that I need in this final project folder. So I started with the CSS because that is up at the top. And so all I did was I took the CSS for that side navigation, which basically starts here. And it goes all the way down through main and media query. Okay, and I copied this into my screen CSS. And where I put it was at the very top, right below the box sizing. So you can see that I have pasted that code right in here, including the media query. So that's the first thing I did. The next thing, for this navigation menu, I decided to put the JavaScript at the bottom. So I went ahead and copied this and scrolled all the way to the bottom above the footer, because this is not going to display anyway. And I pasted it right here. Then right above that is where this menu is going to be coded, even though it's going to display up at the top. So over here is the menu. So I just copied that and pasted that right in here. Okay, so I've got this section with the menu, and I've got this section for the script. Okay, and then what I still needed was at the very top, I needed that little hamburger, those 3 lines, indicating that there's a menu there. And that is what this is doing. And you'll notice that this is inside the main ID. Okay, so I copied this. And I put this inside my header. Okay, so I put it right here. And then you'll notice that I put some divs around it because I needed to incorporate it into my responsive layout. Okay, so I gave it a row all by itself, basically. Okay, so I set the column to 12 and the tablet column to 12. And then I needed main. So right below the body, I added an article because all of this can fits with article. If article doesn't work for yours, you could do div. and I did ID equals main. And then at the very, very bottom, right above the closing body, I added that closing article. Okay, and this is at where I'm at right now. Okay, and so as of right now, this is how it looks. So I'm going to probably want to change how this is displaying. And I'm going to want to remove some of the margin and padding from the heading. And I don't necessarily want to change any of my other headings. So that requires an inline style. So I'm going to come over here. And I believe all that spacing, the spacing would not be coming from the div. Okay. That's one of the reasons we use the divs. It would be coming from H1. So I'm going to add the style equals, and then I'm just going to set the margin to 0 and the padding to 0. And let me save. And we'll reload this. And that did pull it up quite a bit. And so I definitely like this better. And at this point, the links that I have in that menu are kind of dummy links, and I would prefer to use something else. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my icons and put those into this menu because having the icon bar is another requirement. And then of course, I'll have to style them a bit, but I do have those icons over in lesson 10. So I'm going to kind of steal them from an existing page. Now, the My Profitable Web Business did have the icon information in it. And obviously I'm going to change the colors here, but I certainly can copy this and put it over in my grid view. I'm just going to put it at the top. This is all related to classes, so it doesn't really matter where you put it. Okay, and then down here is where I've got all my icon bar links. So I'm going to copy these links and paste them over the top of this. And then here I've got class is side nav, but I also need the class as icon bar. So I can actually just copy that, put in a little space, and add that class to it. Now, in order for these icons to show up, I do need the library. And that is right here. So we'll copy and paste that link. And let me save. Let's see how that looks. I know I'm not going to like the color, but hopefully the icons are showing up. Yes, they are. And obviously now this is way too wide. If I'm going to have the icons here, I do not need this sidebar as wide as it is. So I can adjust that, or I could actually put text next to the icons. That might be a good option. Okay, the rest of this is just kind of making it look good because now I have 3 requirements that I have met. I've got this JavaScript in here. I've got the icon bar, And if I add the nav tags, I will have an official menu. So let me add those tags. Let's see, here's that. I'm going to want to put those down here. Save that. Make sure that didn't change how this looks. And it did not. Okay. So now I've got kind of the official menu here. I've got the icon bar and I've got my JavaScript. So all I've got really left is styling. I'm going to see how this looks if I get rid of the divs and just use nav. Okay, let's see how that looks. Absolutely no difference. So I'm going to go ahead and do it that way. And so for the styling, I don't think I want dark orange. Let's see. And it's definitely not, I'm going to get rid of some of these comments. Full width of the icon bar is fine. Okay. I'm going to pause here while I get rid of some of this stuff. Now, because the icon bar is inside our side navigation, we don't need all of this CSS for the styling. And you can see I commented some of it out. In fact, it's not even picking up the hover here. So when we're hovering, it's turning white, and that is coming from the side nav hover here. And so this CSS is not being used. So I'm going to get rid of it. I think it's even using this. And I venture to guess it's not using this at all, but we'll check. So before I get rid of things, I always comment it out. I believe all of that's getting overridden. So let's reload. All right, no difference in how it looks. So let's get rid of that CSS that we do not need. All right, so I'm going to keep this. And the rest of the styling that I want, I'm actually going to do it in the side nav class. And it is picking up my orange link for nav. I believe that's where that's coming from. So what I may want to do is override some of that if I don't want it to use those colors. Let me save all of this. I don't really have a problem with the colors. I'm just not happy with the width. So let me fix that because it is picking up my link colors, which is okay. Let's just fix the width. All right. So for that side nav, the width is actually being set in the JavaScript. Okay, so you can see here that we've got the width set to 250. And that kind of matches the margin. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to decrease that to 150. We'll save it and we'll see if we like it. I think it could even be smaller. Let me change it to 100. We'll save it. All right, that looks okay to me. So that little menu now is taking care of 3 different requirements for the term project. Printing. If I go into print preview, it's not printing out Font Awesome because I told it not to print links. But you can see it is printing out the JavaScript, which is kind of a problem. That's not something I would want on somebody's printout. So we're going to take a look at our print CSS. So we've got grid view screen, and we've got grid view print. And let's see what we've got here. So we're going to add script into this. And we're going to go ahead and add link. Just to make sure we don't have those libraries printed out by accident. And that's what they want for link. Let me save this. Let's reload it. Go into print preview. All right. Now the hamburger is printing out. That is fine. If I didn't want that to print, I could look up here where that hamburger is. Do I have anything unique? I mean, I could turn off the entire header, but that would get rid of this text. Otherwise, I could add an ID into here. And I can call it menu icon. And the sole purpose of that ID would be to come into here and put in menu icon so it doesn't print. So let's reload that. And now it's gone. Right. So hopefully that helps you out, gives you other ideas for how to incorporate some of these requirements.